beings. Yeah. So we have, what is it, like 25 days, whatever, how many days to cross, whatever, I'm not going to say that word. The next holiday. The next spell, the next, psyop. So I have Agartha, Mother Earth, timelines. The Blemmyae, or I forget the name of how to pronounce that. The weirdo creature with that's the face and the chest. The Blemmyae, something like that. It's like I've never heard of these beings. When I started channeling, I heard about them. It's like what the fuck is that thing? It's like I've heard of some. You never hear about these guys. I don't think I've ever actually did a video on them before. I just feel like it's time to bring them out anyway. So any freaks that are out there, which there's plenty of those out there, some of them, there's gnomes that everybody has their own weird part side, but there's gnomes that are pretty out there. There's a lot of the gremlins that do exist, but the ones where you have like the face and the chest, it's like what the fuck? They have no head. I mean, that is their head, is their chest. That's freaking weird. So everybody's gotta be different, right? I don't know. It just felt like it needed to be. Is that what's what the future holds? Probably not. So the Mother Earth energy. Well, that kind of connects to Mother Earth's frequency. I haven't done a Garthian connection in such a long time. Of course, just the different points of view of Mother Nature, and obviously most of humanity is locked into fear. At least a good portion of it is. I don't know, because a lot of it they can't handle it here. Well, they can. It just it's a process. It's like feel like you're climbing a mountain and you start to slip, and you're like barely hanging on, you can say. So, but they're holding on to the fear and everything. It's just. I think some people have heard this before, but a lot of souls incarnate here think they can do all these things, and they get here and they get nowhere. They get stuck. They become drug addicts or whatever it might be, or it's just not what they thought it would be. So it looks good when the realms they come from, obviously it looks easy until you get here. It's like, what was I thinking? And there's a lot of that here. It's just the soul is making things. It's like not everybody's like this, but quite a few is like, how can I be a bigger pain in the ass? It's like, that seems to be like the goal here. Is like, is it just be, you don't have to be easy going, but I don't know, less difficult, and some of it just being as difficult as possible. It's like an inner maze. Like the inner self becomes more complicated in some ways. It's like, hey, look, I'm all these other things. It's like, you might be a flower, but you have a lot of thorns too at the same time. Or thorn with some flower, or whatever, a cactus, whatever. It's just, it's like the soul expands out into like a mess. Some have that. Others are used to it. They've been through this before, but it does cause a chaotic chain reaction, you could say. It really comes down to the people here just making life difficult. You can name all the demonic beings all day, but it's still the individual allowing the demonic beings to work through them. It's all individual. It's worldwide, obviously. And if they calm that down, or becoming more self-aware, it's kind of like eating the wrong food. And it's kind of the same thing. So energetically, you can say there's nothing wrong with that. But that really is That's what it comes down to. And I don't think it's the Harvard of worlds. I mean, I guess you look at when you have intelligent beings here making a lot of stupid decisions. I guess that's the Harvard of worlds in that regard. It's like, wow, a lot of intelligent energies out there. It's like, why are you doing all this stupid shit? Why are you so dumb? Like, all the time. That's not everybody, but, there's a lot of that here. So, it's like, why go forward and go backwards? And that's a common theme here. Instead of evolving, we'll just go in self-destructive phase instead. So, I don't know. Just gotta do what you gotta do, right? Yeah, if you don't want to get better, you won't get better. If you want to get better, you can't get better. Slimes.com, we have private sessions. Schedule. Shop. And then you have and then freaks. These guys. And this is in mythology somewhere. Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah. I mean, they do have ancient paintings of some of this stuff, or drawings, or not that one, but I'm not gonna go too much into it. But there's actually, it's in some kind of mythology somewhere. The Blemmyae, something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, be careful what you wish for, knowing who is like that. Yeah, that can work, I guess, right? Nice hat. Yeah, just, yeah. Those eight-legged freaks, too. Yeah, just the line of the bearded lady and that thing. But I don't think this thing is that well known. I guess you can say why, but it's pretty out there. I would say it's gonna be kind of scary. I mean, imagine running into one of those in physical form. Welcome to the Bazaar. I don't think there's any children's movies with that on there. Maybe there is. Yeah. Welcome to weirdness. Yeah, I kind of keep this one a little bit short, but kind of going long recently. Yeah, it kind of gets to you after a while. You have to take it easy. So, Mother Earth energy. So, just kind of give you a read of the frequencies in general, whatever she has to say, or anything about our timeline, future, present, whatever, future, present, mermaids, weirdos, and yeah, the Blemmyae, I'll go into them. Sure. A little bit of them. Yeah, so basically put the intention in what is any of this going to contribute to the modern, our modern world. Is anything from Mother Earth connection, can anyone relate to whatever she has, her frequency has to say? Let's put it that way. So, I just kind of put more of that intention out there instead of just being some kind of general, whatever, spiritual hokey pokey. Okay, all right. Blessings for you. Gracious is Mother Earth's frequencies. Of course, believe whatever you wish to. Everyone is on a different path of soul awakening, or your path, soul path. Well, you're becoming more aware of yourself on a higher level. You're bringing more of your higher dimensional frequencies here. And the third dimension is adjusting to it, you could say. and your Mother Earth, yes, your Mother Earth connection. Some feel like they are Mother Earth, and sometimes it's, yeah, it comes crowded here. Uh, you're the well, some of your spiritual groups or cults. Yeah, this a lot of this does come from Agartha itself, of wizardry being used on the people. Uh, Great power showing itself off, but also to control narrative, for mind control, to control this planet. Very simply to rule it. Not to say every group is trying to do that, but some are, they know not to go that far. Well, some might try. Some of them are just like, because they say certain keywords, they have a certain demeanor, they put out a certain frequency to attract crowds. Now, sometimes it's for just self help, that's one thing. But even there, it can get kind of out of hand. But what comes with consequences too. Like, you want a large crowd, can you manage it well? Are you going to treat them, right, or are you going to try and manipulate? As many do manipulate because they just want to continue to be popular and things like that. It all depends. Everything's different. Everyone's different with that. But it does come back to there are beings that feel like they can control the world, or at least attempt to do so. And some of you see some of that. Not everyone's seeing it because it's cloaked. Intentions are not there to make itself known. It puts off good intentions, but it actually has another side to it. Because positivity has a spell around it too, of mind control. So, and the soul develops without to figure this out at some point. It's kind of like fishing, unfortunately. It is like you put bait out there, and the positive energies is bait for a good amount. So, and they get caught. It's like an angelic fisher's net, fishing net. But it doesn't have exactly the best intentions, and there's usually a reptilian frequency behind it. There's other energies, but the reptilian on this world is, and that's just to show that society is not ready. Sometimes they just create these deities just to show society is not ready to figure. But that's not always the case. That there's some truth in that, but society is also known to, so what, we're not that gullible. It's not all of us. So yeah, there's a lot of tricks. The reptilian beings do play a lot of these manipulations to see where you're at. They just, yes, let these figures be created, and as a Mother Earth energy, the idea is, this is technically a school, and you're here to learn. So it's like kind of like stepping back, but still monitoring the situation. It's still keeping an eye on everything because it can't get out of hand. And like in the beginning of the Earth itself, well, you can see the mindset. No, not everyone is going to agree. Everyone has a different point of view, but the mindset is, at least, however I want to word it, but was who are we to say no to their experience here? It's like the idea is not to say no, to let everyone experience this planet for whatever they would like to experience it as. And yes, of course, it does get out of hand after a while. And you can say it's too lenient, but it's all in perspective. It's like, since when is creation, why be limited to creation? Just what you must grow. Let the roots of a tree grow. It's like, and the soul is like the tree. It's just your root, your foundation. Yeah, you wonder why the trees are there. It is really like a symbol of the soul itself. Doesn't mean you have to be the tallest tree, but you can be you can grow a certain foundation. What kind of tree are you? You can say you don't have to look at it too deeply into that, but it does represent growth here. And doesn't mean you're the tallest tree, doesn't mean that you're the most advanced or anything like that. But you do see a lot of tall people here. Yeah, so they're all leg. Yeah, so it just some like just to be able to see a certain height. There's different reasons for it. Well, yeah, height has to do with just point of view. So, but doesn't mean like it's all point of view. Everything's point of view. So it's just and what comes with that point of view. Like sometimes if you're tall, you get too much attention. When you're short, nobody notices you. They do, but you get treated differently. And see why so many people want to be like a midget person or however the word that insulting anyone. A dwarf because they come from Agartha, and it's not what's cracked up to be a tall person. There's a lot of disadvantages to that too. So there's disadvantage to everything you can say, but it very much shows the Agarthian frequencies of or the elves you can say, the short elves. The Blemmyae, yes, is from Sirius, a crazy being to take the human form, to make it bizarre. To them, there's nothing strange about it. So we'll bring their frequencies in to listen. Brings you is the Blemmyae frequency. Well, we are being not to have too much introduction. We're just part of the fourth dimension that can take a human form and to readjust it. There's also a lot of mantis energies connected to us. Why we choose this form? You can say to get attention. It's probably not the best answer for that, but it's just they like their face. Well, there are beings that are just a head, a floating head. So we're just like, we're kind of like a floating head with a body. We're not floating. It doesn't really work that way, but there are floating heads out there. I think some of you have seen that on television somewhere. Yes, that does exist. Imagine a big face that shows up. You're like in your office building doing your work or whatever, and this big face shows up inside the window. What are you doing? You want to come out and play? So there are realms that are, yes, completely bizarre. And some of you have, there's three-headed beings, there's four-headed beings, and so on. Yeah, they take the human and push it to its limits, you can say. In the fourth dimension, you can almost do anything. Almost. Physically, yeah, that's difficult. But people have had visions of us, and there's... do we exist here in the third dimension? Yes and no. Many feel like they're more fourth dimension, but there has been some here in the physical. Yeah, it didn't work out so well, but it is how they just mutants. They're freaks. They kind of create themselves. Well, they're part of creation, but they just kind of manifest their weirdness, you can say.